Okay, so let's look at how we would go about solving this. So what we got to do is we got to get rid of x minus 4, x plus 4. So I'm going to multiply by x minus 4 and x plus 4. Why? Because when I do that, the x minus 4 and the x plus 4 will divide out. So what I end up getting is I'm going to take all of this and it's going to be distributed into each of these. So the goal should always be, when you first see a question like this, if you have fractions, get rid of the fractions as soon as possible. That is one of the most universal tips you can use in an algebra course. You don't want to play with fractions. So get rid of them as soon as possible. Let's see if I can fit this all in here. So as you can see, all I'm doing is I'm rewriting the original problem, which is in orange, and I'm including what I'm multiplying by, which is x minus 4, x plus 4. Let's see if I can squeeze it in. So this is going to be 20 over x plus 4. Okay, and why do we do this? Well, what you're going to see is the x minus 4 divides out, x plus 4 divides out. So this leaves me with x plus 4 times 18 equals x minus 4 times x plus 4 times 1, which is just the same thing. And this is going to be x minus 4 times 20. And so from here, we're going to distribute. So 18x plus 18 times 4, which is 72. Is equal to, now this right here, when you FOIL this out, hopefully you realize that this is the difference of squares. Distributed 20x minus 80. And what you want to see is that, well, first you want to consolidate terms. So in other words, we want to put stuff together that's alike on the left and the right. So nothing on the left we can put together because they're not like terms, but on the right we have negative 16 and negative 80, so we'll put those together. So this gives me 18x plus 72. Again, they have nothing in common. Put plus 8x squared plus 20x minus 96. So now I'm going to move 18x and 72 to the other side. And the reason why I'm doing this is anytime you have a trinomial, the goal is to make it equal to 0, because hopefully we can factor it out and get an appropriate response. Okay, so when I look at this, I have x squared plus 2x minus 168. This is not pretty. I got to figure out what times what is 168, and when I add or subtract, I get 2. Okay, so what I do is when I can't, I don't know what this value is off the top of my head. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to factor out 168. I'm just going to go by 2. So 16 divided by 2 is 8. 8 divided by 8 is 4. I'm just going to break these down. 84 is just 2. I'm going to take another 2 out, so it's going to be 42. You don't have to always take 2. I'm just going to do it because it's simple. So I made a little factor tree. And this means that I'm left with 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 7. Why am I listing the primes? Remember, the number is 168, and I'm going to have add or subtract. I'm going to have to subtract to get 2, right? So if I write it as such, I can try to get as close as possible. I can see what times what very quickly. That will get me to, I want to try to multiply these values out and see how close I can get to getting two values to match. So if I leave 7 alone and we multiply all these, we have 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. 8 times 3 is 24. So that's too much, right? So we'll backtrack and we'll say 2 times 2 times 2 is 8, and 7 times 3 is 21. And then that's not going to be enough. So I know I have to combine, I'm going to have to combine 7 with 2 in some capacity, right? So let's see if we can figure out what that is. So that's going to be, let's see here. If we put these two together, that gives me 14. If I put these together, that's 4 and 3 is 12. So 14 and 12, boom. There we go. So it's a way to kind of figure out what works. If if you don't have a calculator, it's probably one of the better ways of doing it, but it's 14 and 12. So this factors out to x plus 14, x minus 12. Now the other way, if you don't like what I did there, is you just brute force, just work it out. Just try 2, try 4, try 6 until you get something that works. So in any case, this becomes x equals negative 14, x equals 12, right? The signs end up flipping. Okay? One thing you always have to do is, again, remember this orange right here was the original problem, and we can't have 0 in the denominator, so it's negative 14 or 12 give me 0 in the denominator. No, it does not. Hence, these are my answers. All right, hopefully that makes sense. See you in the next video.